when the heaven is split asunder, and listens and obeys its Lord, and it must do so, and when the earth is stretched forth, and has cast out all that was in it, and became empty, and listens and obeys its Lord, and it must do so. And when the earth is stretched forth, and has cast out all that was in it, and became empty, and listens and obeys its Lord, and it must do so. O man, verily you are returning towards your Lord, with your deeds and actions, good or bad, a sure returning, so you will meet the results of your deeds which you did. Then as for him who will be given his record in his right hand, he surely will receive an easy reckoning, and will return to his family in joy. But whosoever is given his record behind his back, he will invoke his destruction, and shall enter a blazing fire, and will be made to taste its burning. Verily, he was among his people in joy. Verily, he thought that he would never come back to us. Yes, verily, his Lord has been ever beholding him. Reported that the Messenger of Allah said, whosoever it pleases to see the day of resurrection with his very own eyes, then let him recite when the sun Kuerat wound round and lost its light and is overthrown, and when the heaven is cleft asunder, and when the heaven is split asunder. The three above mentioned chapters. Then said, and I think he said, the chapter of Hud, related it through another chain. This is related in another hadith. The chapter of Hud and its sisters have made me grey-haired in our book of Tafsir. Whenever we came across a verse that described the day of resurrection, we mentioned the Ahadeeth and other verses that explained it. By Allah's might, power, help, and good guidance, we will relate here what Allah makes easy for us, the terrifying great events that will take place on the day of resurrection. Reported that the Messenger of Allah said, as people will be raised on the day of resurrection, the sky will touch upon them. The Prophet saying, to touch upon them has two possible meanings. Light rain will fall down upon them from the sky, or the heat will be sweltering, and Allah knows best. And Allah said, think they not that they will be resurrected for reckoning on a great day, the day when all mankind will stand before the Lord of the Alamin, mankind, jinn, and all that exists. It is established in the Sihah, the Sahah, that they will be standing in sweat that will reach halfway up their ears. In another hadith, it is indicated that people will be different in that regard, each according to his deeds. The following is mentioned in the hadith of intercession, which we will relate later on. Verily, the sun will come near the slaves of Allah on the day of resurrection. It will be a single mile away from them. At that juncture they will be known according to their deeds. Related that the Messenger of Allah said, on the day of resurrection, sweat will go in the earth the distance of 70 outstretched arms. It will indeed reach the mouths of people or up until their ears. One of the narrators of the hadith wasn't sure which it was. Related it as well, each with his respective chain. I sat beside one of them, said to the other, in regard to the point where the sweat of people will reach on the day of resurrection, what did you hear the Messenger of Allah mention? One of them said, until the flesh of his ear. The other said, it will bridle him, it will reach his mouth, so that it will be like a bridle on the mouth of a horse. Drew a line and pointed with his finger to the flesh of his ear until his mouth. The chain of this narration is good and strong. Reported that he heard the Messenger of Allah say, on the day of resurrection the sun will be brought close to the slaves of Allah until it will be at a distance of a mile or 2 miles.